that, I can't not mention them. And I've just been very at peace with where I am right now. I feel like God is wanting me to be a chemical engineer. Now, I don't know if I'll be a chemical engineer for the rest of my life. He might be using me right now to obtain information about chemical
Right.
engineering in order to do something else. I still don't know. But the reason I say I'm the least of an engineer you ever meet is because I don't like coding. I don't like physics. It feels like all engineers you meet love coding, love physics. I hate coding, hate physics. If I could, I'd rather sit in a lab and do a bunch of crazy reactions,
Right.
probably get like burn marks on my face, than sit down and code a script.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know with chemical engineering, it is difficult, but it's so it feels like this is where I need to be.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm not supposed to be here, so to speak.
That's really, really good. I know you hit on the instructors for you, both in high school and in college, whether it was your teachers or your professors, not only encouraging you, saying you're going to do great things, but even when you don't do such great things, when you fail the test, they're there to reaffirm your ambition to love and serve in this vocation of yours in chemical engineering. And I think that's really underrated. We talk about teachers occasionally, and I think I hear a lot more negative connotations associated with professors, especially just going through day-to-day life in college. You hear about, oh, our professor made us do this, or there's so much work in this class, or they didn't change my grade on the test, or they wrote a really hard test and what was on the test wasn't what was in the notes or in the book or anything like that. It seems to me that there's a lot of negativity associated with teachers, and I think we definitely need to do a better job of edifying the teachers, because they are probably the most important edifiers of us in terms of our ambition, in terms of our dreams, pushing us towards success, because we can all probably name 2 or 3 teachers. I pray that everyone can name 2 or 3 teachers who have really encouraged them individually to pursue their passions in one way or another, and maybe not even individually, and maybe not even recently, because for a while, I mean, all middle school and high school, I had zero direction, not necessarily running away from anything or everything, but just didn't know what I was going to do. Even coming into college, didn't know what I was going to do. But when I switched from Kines to English, it wasn't because of any classes I took here at Texas A&M. It was because I remembered in like 3rd and 4th grade, I had Mrs. Whitus and Mrs. Nemi tell me that I was such a great writer. And then in 7th grade, I had Mrs. Ortega tell me, wow, I really like this story. And it was amazing because there was so much talent that I guess I had not tapped into, or a love that I just never realized I had. This gift that I did not notice for so long because I had forgotten the words that were encouraging me from a very, very young age to be a writer or a communicator or just a creator in general. Like that's how I think my brain is wired now, as I've been doing a lot of self-discovery, is that I just like creating things.
Yeah.
And I have a problem identifying with the things that I make and wanting them to be very, very good. But when I was first coming into college, at least, I didn't have a whole lot of affirmation one way or the other. They were just a bunch of voices in my head telling me to find something that I was passionate about, and I wasn't sure I was passionate about anything, which like was stressful because you don't want to be one of the slaves of the clock or the time card or the 9 to 5. And not that there's anything wrong with working 9 to 5, but if you don't love it, then you're not going to love it.
Right.
You know, and so I was just praying for so long, all throughout freshman year, wondering, is kinesiology the place for me? Is like science the place for me? And it turns out that it wasn't. And it was strange the way it did, because when I switched to English, I didn't even have the plan to change career path. I just was changing the path to the same career, because within coaching, you didn't need a kines degree. You just needed a degree. And if you wanted to coach and teach, they recommended getting a degree in whatever you wanted to teach. So I was like, well, I probably would teach English because I don't want to teach anything else,
Right.
you know? But then as I got into English, I rediscovered, for one, my love for reading and just my love for language and my love for words and just all the interesting conversations that you can have about rhetoric and text and argumentation and stuff like that. But I also just rediscovered my love for creating really anything. Whenever I sit down and write a paper, I kind of do that thing where I lock myself in a headspace and I don't come out of it for about 6 hours. I know engineers will do that with code, where they just have to be completely tunnel focused
Right.
and on the project, and they don't move until it gets done. Like, that's the way I am. But those 6 hours can go by and I won't notice, and I'll be happy at the end of it. You know, it's not a draining 6 hours. It can be, because I'll usually need a nap afterwards, but it's something that I can do. And honestly, I hope I could do just about every day at a 9 to 5. If that was like my vocation or my job, like, it would be more empowering to me and more like upbuilding for me than it would be tearing me down. And I think that's the goal that anybody going into college or going into a major should think about, especially like as a follower of Christ. Like, is this job going to be like pulling you down in terms of your faith, in terms of your walk, or is it going to edify you and build you up? Is it going to encourage you to pursue your relationship with the Lord more and more every single day that you're in the classroom, that you're having conversations with engineers or English majors or wherever you are? What is this path that you're going down leading you to, and what's along the way, you know?